4, 3.
Wait, I'm sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. What the heck was I gonna say? Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, 5. Yeah, here we go.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey everybody, my name is Rebel Poet, and I have the amazing honor to be sitting here today interviewing an amazing, multifaceted, rising artist, just one of a kind. I am here today with the one and only Kahdré Walker.
Thank you, man. It's an honor to be here. It's a pleasure. I'm happy you could make it. And we're about to get into some things.
I'm honored to be here and to be able to have this interview with you, because I know you are going to be doing some amazing things. So with that being said, you are an artist, a choreographer, a dancer, a model, a creative director, and just an all-around inspiration to the world. So I'm curious, tell me a little bit about how this journey began for you.
This was definitely a long journey. It's still going. But honestly, my whole entire family is just so creative and artistic. Like, all my uncles play instruments. My aunts all sing. I have like a lot of dancers in my family, actors, and all types of producers and things like that. So I grew up around art and artistic people. So I always knew that I had an ability or a gift or something like that. But just throughout my life, it just began to cultivate itself. Number one, I got into band when I was in the 8th grade, and my band director, Mr. Underwood at the time, he was just like, we need a dance routine. Like, y'all two go in the room, make up a dance routine. And it was in those moments where I realized, like, I really enjoy this process. I really I get a kick out of this, going in the room, making this up, and then teaching it to other people, and then from there performing it for an audience, and then seeing the response from the audience. Like, it really touched me in a different place, and I resonated with that. I wanted to keep that feeling alive inside of me, so I kept going. And that's honestly where I realized I had a passion for production and putting things together for like performance or something like that. So that's kind of like where my journey began.
So tell me, where are you from, and how does that affect your work?
Man, I am from the one and only St. Petersburg, Florida.
That's right, the bird.
We need a round of applause right there. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida. Man, people from St. Pete, we're so proud to be where we're from. We just really represent full force. And I'm one of those people. I really love St. Petersburg, Florida. It's a very multifaceted place. It's rich in culture. It's rich in history. The people are amazing there. There's so many talented, legendary people that have come out of St. Petersburg, Florida. So with knowing that, I just kind of wear that, and I'm very proud of being from St. Petersburg. I remember picking up my sister, from her rehearsals, her dance practices and things like that, and really getting to see other creatives in a generation before me, really seeing what the city had to offer at a young age. Those moments really stick with me, and that's kind of my standard of what I've seen in the past. And St. Petersburg is awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, so shout out to 727.
It is awesome.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. So much culture, so much creativity. And so I understand that you've decided to take a huge step right now, and you're currently in a transition phase of your career.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So right now, like I said, I'm transitioning from really focusing on dance and choreography and things like that to really asserting myself as full-blown artist. I really want to be in control over the ideas that I have, and being able to put other people in place along with the visions that I have is very important to me. And what that looks like, it has pros and cons, and it's been very healing. It's been very reassuring. It feels good, but at the same time, it's very different, and it's also very scary because it doesn't look the same and it doesn't feel the same. And that's actually one of the main things that was the hardest to get over was realizing, how does this sound? Like, how does this feel? How does this look? And like, how are people going to perceive this? But you know, throughout time, God just gave me the vision on what that was going to look like, and when he gave it to me, I just took it and ran with it, and now it's turning into everything I imagined. And that's just the beauty of the whole situation. What I want to express to people is just like, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel pressure to advertise yourself as something that you're not in that particular moment. Just stay true to your grind and stay true to the season that you're in, because once that season is over and that phase is over, you'll be prepared. And that's one thing that God does. He calls us to a phase of preparation. Yes. And so if you miss that phase of preparation, you're not going to be prepared for the next season that he's trying to take you to. So it's very important to just understand, like, what are the things that I need to let go of right now? What are the things that I need to shift my focus on? Like, how can I get to where I'm trying to go? And so that's really like how this season of my life has been. Switching from like focusing more from dance and going into more like music and artistry and just full-blown creativity and things like that. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And growth is never easy.
Yes. Yeah.
When we're experiencing those trials and tribulations and doubt and things like that, that's when we're growing the most.
Yes.
And you have to honor yourself. When
Yes.
you're being called to a certain place in your life, a certain position, you have to honor that and really step into that, because that is when the magic really happens.
No, for real.
Right? We know that you're coming from being a dancer, a choreographer, a creative director, to now an artist, a vocal artist. So how would you say that your style has changed over time?
Man, it's had a lot to do with my dance career. It's had a lot to do with the different environments that I've been in, with being in an HBCU. That was a whole different phase in my life. But I'll speak on the fact that I started doing ballroom like maybe a couple years ago. I started teaching ballroom, and that's like partner dancing. But being in that culture and being in that world like really unlocked like a whole new perspective for me as a creative and as a dancer at the time. You know, I learned a lot. I didn't know that I was going to come across a wealth of knowledge with entering into that genre of dance, because I learned so much about the history of movement, the history of music, different sounds, like different instruments, like the cowbell, like how significant this was to a particular style of music and things like that. So it's really just helped me to have an understanding of what this really is, and not just from one perspective. It's put me around other people that, you know, I never thought I would be around, you know, all different type of foreign people, Europeans, like all type of people. And so that, even being around different type of people, it helps you to figure out who you are and like what makes you special, because you see what makes other people special and things like that. But not only ballroom, so more so on a music standpoint, naturally when I write, I'm very, very deep, because my mind just goes, like, it's almost like God's just like flowing through my brain to my hand, and I'm just going. So like, as far as my growth as an artist, I really have been trying to focus on, like, because it was actually a challenge trying to be more relatable with my music and with like the things that I do, because I'll put stuff out there and I just expect people to get it, and I realized years later, like, people don't get it. Like, I thought you knew what I was doing and you really had no idea that what I was doing, you know what I'm saying? So and then as far as my music goes, it's like, you know, I go really deep, and you know, it was a challenge for me because I wanted to resonate with people on like the surface level, but at the same time staying true to myself and showing people like how my brain actually works and like the things that actually matter to me, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people get used to seeing one side of you and they like to like put you as that, you know what I'm saying? You know, just I didn't want to get stuck in like the preachy rapper thing. I wanted to be able to like reach everybody, you know what I'm saying? So that's like where I matured as an artist, like just keeping it simple, but at the same time staying true. And like when it's time for substance, it's time for substance. So that's.
And so you currently have a fan base, right? And so what do you think that's going to look like for you transitioning from this, you know, dancer, choreographer stage now into this full-blown musician stage? How do you think that it's going to influence your fan base?
I honestly, I mean, it should be interesting, to be honest. What I can say is coming from an HBCU culture, I really made a lot of connections and like friendships, and a lot of people that I call family from like different generations. So I definitely carry like a lot of my fan base through the HBCU world and the band world and things like that, and the dance industry and even the ballroom industry. And so ultimately, like, I have a lot of people, and my church family, like I have a lot of people that like really want to see me succeed.
Yes.
And I know like they're just waiting to see like where God's gonna take me. So
Yeah.
I definitely feel like, you know, they're locked in. The ones that really know who I am, the ones that really have watched me and watched me develop and, you know, grow my one talent into like 10 talents. Like I definitely know that those people are like locked in and they're here with me. As far as like music and things like that, with like I was saying earlier, where I'm trying to go with my music, I definitely feel like I'll be able to reach across like different audiences and increase and like really maximize my fan base. And that's really my plan. I'm very optimistic because I know the different genres that I would like to play in and like, you know, get into later on. So yeah, it should be pretty interesting to see.
Describe to me, now that I'm a little bit more serious here. Describe to me how you think that, how and why you think art is important to society.
That's a good question. I think art is very important to society because in a way it's like all we have that's real. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
God is an artist. He created all of this. We are his creation. And so, you know, I think with us being humans and when we express ourselves and we put art out, a lot of people don't think that, you know, they should be responsible for different things, but I think you do have a really huge responsibility when you are an artist because you are shaping society and you are forming how people think and what is okay and what's not okay. And we've seen that throughout history. And with being in the dance industry and now stepping into the music industry, like I know that to be true. So art influences our society like probably the most.
And with that being said, how do you think that your art will impact the world?
Well, I'm somebody who's very like true to themselves. I'm a kind of person that's like, you either get it or you don't, and I'm never gonna try to like make you get it. You know what I'm saying? And I can see when you get it, and I can see when you don't get it, and it's just like I just kind of operate in my own realm. And I just feel like we have a lot of people right now that kind of tend to people please and to kind of just do whatever society says is the new thing. I'm gonna stick up for this thing because this is what everybody's sticking up for. And so with me, it's just like I kind of like stand on a foundation, and that's really like it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, you know, who am I to cast judgment on anybody else? You know, that's never the goal. But it's very important for you to stand firm on your own personal foundation and what you know. Because if you don't stand for anything, you'll what they say?
Yeah, if
you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Everything.
Everything and anything. That's it.
But yeah, I just think that with me, like honestly, we need better celebrities. Like no shade. Like, we need people who are gonna be like real and like, hey, like this is not okay. But you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That'll come later on. I'm definitely not gonna come in guns blazing. Like everybody, like no. I'm gonna play, you know, my role and keep it cute and keep it cool. But people need to see that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We need that in our culture because we are honestly like, we're getting a little deep, but you know, I'm gonna touch and back up.
Let's
America, like we are in a mental health crisis right now. So it's like the people who we have in positions of power, like we need like people of a sound mind. We need people. We need leaders. We need people with character. We need people with morals, and like we don't need people that's just like doing anything or whatever, because like that's what's leading us into more and more chaos. Like we were wondering why like people are becoming more violent. People are acting out like. Things are becoming more of an issue, and we're wondering why, but it's just like because of who we have in positions of leadership, who influences us in society and things like that. So,
and you're right, artists fall into that category because so many people are influenced by the things that artists do, and, or they hold them at such high standards, and unfortunately, you're right, they don't have that moral structure, that moral fiber that requires them to act in, you know, in a way that they should be acting. So But I think that's definitely going to change with like
Yeah.
people like you stepping into the scene and people that are really true to themselves and honoring who they are at the core. So what could we expect from your music?
My music, expect greatness, honestly. Like, expect nothing less. Expect execution. Like, I've been sitting on this stuff for some years now, and it's like, it's that time, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely gonna troll at first. I'm definitely gonna like, you know. So just to get into a little bit more detail, you know, it's funny because I was having a conversation with my friend like last year about music, because I was, you know, talking about this whole process and everything, and we were saying like we wanted to make this like really fun, like crunk Florida song, like vibe everything out. I'm with my friends, I'm on the beach, I'm doing all that stuff. Like, we really wanted to like create and play with that vibe. And it's like a whole year from now, like, look at what music, like, we have City Girls featuring Usher with this whole like freak it vibe. We have Kodak Black with the new Can't Stop Won't Stop. You have what's his name, Bobby Shmurda came out with the Hoochie Daddy song. And it's like we keep hearing Sierra came out with her thing, and we're in this Florida vibe right now. So I think it's very funny how I predicted that like a year ago. So that's kind of like my strategy coming off bat. Like, I'm just gonna come off like with good vibes, good energy. Like, let's turn up, let's have fun. But then as we get more into it, I'm gonna like reveal layer by layer like what I have to offer as an artist. So my strategy with that is just like I want to build the anticipation. You know, I've had songs that are like masterpieces that I was like, oh, I'm just gonna release it, but I don't want to put that out there too soon, because I want you to be ready for it. And so I'm just like, you know, turning the stove on, you know, taking my time.
Yes, let them simmer on
yes, let it simmer, right? Yes, perfect
term.
term.
I think that's a phenomenal strategy.
Yes.
I think that's amazing. So are there any final thoughts that you want to leave your audience with today?
Yes, I just want to say, if you know that you have a different kind of calling on your life, if you know that you're like destined for greater things, and you don't even know what that looks like, and you just feel like something is down inside you, like, I'm gonna be the number one person to, like, first of all, it's not gonna be easy. There are gonna be people that are gonna try to come against you for literally no reason at all, just because they see the light inside of you. And I don't want to scare you, I just want to prepare you for that. But just know it gets greater later, it gets greater as you move through it, and those situations really make you better, and it helps to cultivate you as a person. So don't lose sight of that. Just because it gets hard, don't feel like you have to shake off of what you heard from God. Like, stay true to what you heard, because in the end of it all, like, you'll be the one with the victory. So that's really what I want to leave them with. Just stay focused, stay true to your season, and you're about to get crunk.
That's amazing. I want to thank you again. Is it okay if I give you a hug?
Yes! You gotta move these bikes.
Thank you, Kahdré.
Thank you.